Thank you, Karen, for that lovely special music. Also, Dennis, for that message. Do not be discouraged. Good afternoon and happy Sabbath to everyone. Can you open your Holy Scripture to Joshua chapter 1, verse 1. After the death of Moses, the servant of the Lord said to Joshua, Moses, my servant, is dead. Now then, you and all these people get ready to cross the Jordan River into the land I'm about to give to them, to the Israelites. I will give you every place where you set your foot, as I promised. Verse 5. No one will be able to stand up against you all the days of your life, as I was with Moses. So I will be with you. I will never leave you or forsake you. So the title of my message today is God's Hand in the Battle for the Promised Land. Let's go to Joshua 6, verse 1. Now Jericho was tightly shut up because of the Israelites. Oh, no one went out and no one came in. Then the Lord said to Joshua, See, I have delivered Jericho into your hands, along with its king and its fighting men. March around the city once with all the armed men. Do this for 6 days. This happened during the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Have 7 priests carry trumpets of ram's horn in front of the ark. On the 7th day, march around the city 7 times, with the priests blowing the trumpets. When you hear them sound a long blast on the trumpet, have all the people give a loud shout, then the wall of the city will collapse, and the people will go up, every man straight up. So we are all familiar with this story. So we go to to what really happened on verse 20. When the trumpet sounded, the people shouted, and at the sound of the trumpet, when the people gave a loud shout, the wall collapsed. So every man charged straight in, and they took the city. Verse 20, same chapter. They devoted the city to the Lord and destroyed with a sword every living thing in it. Men, women, young and old, cattle, sheep, and donkeys. So, the first city collapsed. The city of Jericho. Chapter 8, verse 1. Then the Lord said to Joshua, so who gave the battle plan to destroy Jericho? Si God, di ba? Si God gave the battle plan. Now let's go to another city, Ai. Then the Lord said to Joshua, do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. Take the whole army with you and go up and attack Ai. For I have delivered into your hands the king of Ai, his people, his city, and his land. You shall do to Ai and its king as you did to Jericho and its king, except you may carry off their plunder and livestock for yourselves. Set an ambush behind the city. So anong plano ni God? Set an ambush behind the city. That's the battle plan. So Joshua and the whole army moved out to attack Ai. He chose 30,000 of his best fighting men and sent them out at night with these orders. Listen carefully. You are to set an ambush behind the city. Do not go very far from it. All of you be on the alert. I and all those with me will advance on the city. And when the men come out against us, as they did before, we will flee from them. They will pursue us until we have lured them away from the city, for they will say, They are running away from us as they did before. So when we flee from them, you are to rise up from the ambush and take the city. The Lord your God will give it into your hand. When you have taken the city, set it on fire. Do what the Lord has commanded. See to it you have my orders. So ano gagawin? So some people will set an ambush behind the city. So verse 10, same chapter. Early the next day, the next morning, Joshua mustered his men, and the leaders of Israel marched before them to Ai. The entire force that was with him marched up and approached the city and arrived in front of it. So 30,000 ang dala niyang tao, 25,000 went to the city. Nagpakita yung 25,000, yung army na 20. Yung 5,000 nakatago behind the city. So verse 14, same chapter. So when the king of Ai saw this, he and all his men of the city hurried out early in the morning to meet Israel in battle at a certain place overlooking Arabah. But he did not know that an ambush had been set against him behind the city. Joshua and all the Israelites let themselves be driven back before them. And as they fled toward the desert, all the men of Ai were called to pursue them. And they pursued Joshua and were lured away from the city. Not a man remained in Ai. So ni isang tao, isang soldier wala doon sa city. Or Bethel, who did not go after Israel. They left the city open and went in pursuit of Israel. Yun ang plano ni God, di ba? Then the Lord said to Joshua, hold out toward Ai the javelin that is in your hand, for into your hand I will deliver the city. So Joshua held out his javelin toward Ai. As soon as he did this, the men in the ambush rose quickly from their position and rushed forward. They entered the city and captured it and quickly set it on fire. Easy to take the city. Why? There was no soldiers there. So they set it on fire. The men of Ai looked back and saw the smoke of the city rising against the sky. But they had no chance to escape in any direction, for the Israelites who had been fleeing toward the desert had turned back against their pursuers. For when Joshua and all the Israel saw that the ambush has taken the city and the smoke was going up from the city, he turned around and attacked the men of Ai. The men of the ambush also came out of the city against them. So they were caught in the middle, with Israelites on both sides. Israel cut them down, leaving neither survivors nor fugitives. Okay, fall of the second city. Diba? This is a battle for the promised land. So first, Jericho fell. Second, Ai fell. Now let's go to chapter 9, verse 3. When the people of Gibeon heard that Joshua had done to Jericho and Ai, which we just read, they were resorted to a ruse. Ano yung ruse? A trick. So they wanted to trick Joshua and the Israelites. Okay? So they wanted to trick Joshua, itong Gibeon, mga Gibeonites. So when the people of Gibeon heard that what Joshua had done to Jericho and Ai, they resorted to a trick. Okay? They went as a delegation whose donkeys were loaded with worn-out sacks and old wineskins cracked and mended. So dala niya mga luma. Very old. Huh? The men put on worn and patched sandals on their feet and wore old clothes. All the bread of their food supply was dry and moldy. Puro amag na. Then they went to Joshua in the camp up Gilgal and said to him and the men of Israel. Itong sinabi nila. We have come from a distant country. Make a treaty with us. The men of Israel said to the Hivites. Sino mga ito? Hivites. They were Hivites. But perhaps you live near us. How then can we make a treaty with you? Baka nandiyan ka lang sa tabi namin. Di ba? We are your servants, they said to Joshua. But Joshua asked, who are you? And where did you come from? Saan kayo galing? They answered, your servants have come from a very distant country because of the fame of the Lord your God. So takot sila kay God. Okay? For we have heard reports of Him, all that He did in Egypt, and all that He did to the two kings of the Amorites, Sihon, King Sihon and King Og, and our elders and those living in our country said to us, take provisions for your journey, go and meet them and say to them, this is what you are saying to the Israelites. We are your servants, make a treaty with us. This bread of ours was warm when we packed it at home on the day we left to come to you. Bago ito dati, pero ngayon, old na, may amag na, tagal na, di ba? And these wineskins that were filled were new, but see how cracked they are. Our clothes and sandals are worn out by the very long journey. Sabi nila kay Joshua and the elders of Israel. The men of Israel sampled their provisions. But, what did they fail to do? They did not inquire of the Lord. They did not ask God. So they made a decision without asking God. Then Joshua made a treaty of peace with them to let them live. Okay, sabi Joshua, okay. Come from a different country, and distant country, okay. Let's make a treaty. And the leaders of the assembly ratified it by an oath. So, nakatron sila ng peace treaty between the Gibeonites and the Israelites. 3 days after they made the treaty with the Gibeonites, the Israel heard that they were neighbors. Nabalita na, di ba? Kapitbahay natin ito. Living near them. So, the Israelites set out and on the third day came to their cities. Verse 18. But the Israelites did not attack them, because the leaders of the assembly had sworn an oath to them by the Lord, the God of Israel. So, they cannot attack them. Kasi there's a treaty. May treaty of peace. The whole assembly grumbled against the elders. But all the elders answered, we have given them an oath by the law, by the Lord, the God of Israel, and we cannot touch them now. We cannot touch them. Even though they are around us, we cannot touch them. This is what we will do to them. Okay? They keep on saying they are servants, right? Or this is what we will do to them. We will let them live, so the wrath will not fall on us for breaking the oath we swore to them. As they continue, let them live, but let them be woodcutters, okay, and water carriers for the entire community. So the leader's promise to them was kept. Gawin natin silang servant. Gusto pala nila maging servant, di ba? Woodcutters and water carriers. Kailangan natin ngayon, kulang ng tubig tayo, di ba? Water carriers. Some parts of the Metro Manila, kulang pa rin ng tubig yata, no? Ngayon, brown out naman problema, no? So, no water, no power. Okay. Anyway, do not be discouraged. Temporary lang yan. They are just temporary. No problem. Okay, no problem. Nasaan na tayo? Okay. So the leaders promised to them. Verse 22. Then Joshua summoned the Gibeonites and said, why did you deceive us by saying, we live a long way from you, while actually you just live near us. You are now under a curse. You will never cease to serve as woodcutters and water carriers for the house of my God. They answered Joshua, your servants were clearly told how the Lord your God had commanded his servants Moses to give you the whole land and to wipe out all its inhabitants from before you. Nabalitaan nila. Yung pala. Okay? They are going to wipe out everybody. Okay, in that area. So, we feared for our lives because of you, and that is why we did this. We are now in your hands. Do to us whatever seems good and right to you. So Joshua saved them from the Israelites, and they did not kill them. That day, they made the Gibeonites woodcutters and water carriers for the community and for the altar of the Lord at the place the Lord would choose. And that is what they are to this day. So, they were able to live and became woodcutters and water carriers. Chapter 10. Chapter 10. Now, Adoni-Sedek. Sino siya? King of Jerusalem. At that time, he was the king of Jerusalem. Heard that the Joshua had taken Ai and totally destroyed it, doing to Ai and its king as he had done to Jericho and its king, and that the people of Gibeon had made a treaty of peace with Israel and were living near them. Okay, these Israelites came out of Egypt. Okay, now is entering our land, destroyed Jericho, destroyed Ai. Itong mga Gibeonites made a peace treaty with Israel. Okay. He and his people were very much alarmed at this. Siyempre, natakot. Because Gibeon was an important city. Like one of the royal cities. Maganda pala yung city ng Gibeon, ha? One of the royal cities. It was larger than Ai, and its men were good fighters. Magaling pala mga ito. Good warriors, pero naging woodcutters na lang. And water carriers na lang. Okay? Even though they were good warriors, they know. They have no match against the Lord and God of Israel. Alam nila yan. So, they resorted to a trick. Okay? So, Adoni-Sedek, king of Jerusalem, appealed to Hoham, king of Hebron, Piram, king of Jarmuth, Japhia, king of Lachish, and Debir, king of Eglon. How many kings? 5. 5 kings. Come up and help me attack Gibeon. Sino i-attack nila? Gibeon. We teach Gibeon a lesson. Why? Because they made a treaty with Israelites, di ba? Let's give them a lesson. Yun ang gusto nila. He said, because it has made a peace with Israel and with Joshua and the Israelites. Then the 5 kings of Amorites. Sino man ito? Amorites. Join forces. 5 kings. So, 5 armies. Marami ba yan? Marami yan, ha? 5 armies. Okay? They move up with all their troops and took up position against Gibeon and attacked it. So, they attacked Gibeon. The Gibeonites then sent word to Joshua in the camp at Gilgal. So, may messenger. Siguro nakatakas. Okay? They went to Gilgal. Nandun si Joshua. Do not abandon your servants, sabi niya. Come up to us quickly and save us. Help us, sabi niya. Because all the Amorite kings from the hill country have joined forces against us. Si Joshua, mabait, di ba? Mabait si Joshua. So, what did he do? He marched. Nag-march siya. So he marched up from Gilgal with his entire army, including all the best fighting men. The Lord said to Joshua, "Do not be afraid of them. I have given them into your hand. Not one of them will be able to withstand you." Is that encouraging or not? God will say to Joshua, all of them will not survive against you. I will be with you. Di ba? So, si Joshua, siyempre, full of courage na ngayon. Di ba? Full of courage. Full of enthusiasm. Verse 9. After an all-night march from Gilgal, hindi natulog. Hindi sila natulog. Nag-march. Okay? Whole night. Joshua took them by surprise. Nagulat yung 5 kings. Okay? Yung 5 armies. Nagulat. The Lord threw them into confusion before Israel. So, nakagulo. Okay? Who defeated them in a great victory at Gibeon. Israel pursued them along the road going up to Beth Horon and cut them down all the way to Azekah and Makkedah, as they fled before Israel. So nagtakbuhan na kasi may confusion, di ba? On the road down from Beth Horon to Azekah, the Lord hurled large hailstones. Okay? Down on them from the sky. Can you imagine that? So nagtakbuhan mga tao. So there are Israelites running after the Amorites. So from the sky, tatapo ng hailstone. Okay? Okay? Fell. Hailstones fell. From the sky. And more of them died from the hailstone than were killed by the swords of Israel. For how have you seen a hailstone? Ako, I have never seen one. Maliit lang yun, di ba? O malaki? Ha? Ganon, no? May mga ganon, ano? Ha? May malaki?
Size golf ball.
Golf ball, ha? Can a golf ball kill a man? Ha? Can a golf ball kill a man? So, anong description? Large. Hindi small. Large hailstones. Okay. Killing people. How big is this hailstone? Diba? How big do you think is the hailstone? We have no idea, right? But Bible gives us a clue. How big is this hailstone? Okay? Because this event is going to happen again. The hailstone killing people will happen again in the future. Saan? Where is it recorded? Revelation. Let's go to Revelation 16. In Revelation 16, it is recorded how big is the hailstone. Okay? Revelation 16, okay, verse 21. From the sky. From the sky. Huge. Di ba? Huge ulit. Large. Di ba kanina? Large. Same meaning ba yung large and huge? Yes, right? Huge hailstones, about 100 pounds, each fell on men. How heavy is the hailstone? 100 pounds. Nakita ninyo yung water container doon. You know, yun doon sa water dispenser. Yung water dispenser, yung water container doon. How heavy is that? 50 pounds. 50 pounds. Isa nun. So, dalawang ganon. Imagine, dalawang ganon is 100 pounds. Okay? if you play bowling, in bowling ball, the heaviest is 16 pounds. 16 pounds yung bowling ball, malaki. Ang bigat nun, di ba? O, 6 nun. Okay? So, if you drop it like here, like this, ba mabigat? Ma'am, masakit? Can you imagine it comes from the sky? Comes from the sky. Okay? When you are running away, tak! Can it kill a man? Definitely. Definitely. From the sky. Okay? Let's read this. Revelation na yan, ha? Revelation 16. Part of the 7 bowls yan, eh. Okay? Revelation 16. Let's read. From the sky, huge hailstones of about 100 pounds each fell upon men. And they cursed God on account of the plague of the hail. And because the plague was so terrible. So terrible. Can you imagine? In the future, it's going to happen again. Okay? This time, before the end of the world. Alright? Let's go back to Joshua. So, 100, more or less, 100-pound hailstones. So the Lord, sino nagtapon? Okay, verse 10, verse 11. The Lord. Okay, the Lord hurled large hailstones. Maybe he can ask the angels to do it, okay? Hurled large hailstone down on them from the sky. Many died from the hailstones and from the sword of the Israelites. Now, amazing thing happened here. This is one of the amazing prayer recorded in the Holy Scripture. The prayer of Joshua. Truly, truly amazing. We will discuss this in more details. This amazing prayer of Joshua. Verse 12. On the day the Lord gave the Amorites over to Israel. So, si Joshua is full of confidence. He's going to defeat these 5 kings and these 5 armies. Joshua said to the Lord in the presence of Israel. So, Joshua said this, gave this prayer in front of all the Israelites. Ano itong prayer na ito? O sun, stand still over Gibeon. O moon, over the valley of Aijalon. So the sun stood still, and the moon stopped, till the nation avenged itself on its enemies. Okay? Was that an amazing prayer or not? Huh? He asked for what? For more daylight. He was running out of time. He wanted to finish the job God has given him, which is to destroy all these 5 armies, right? He was running out of time. He was afraid that all these people will now go back to their fortified cities. Mahirapan na siya uli. So he wants to finish the job God has given him. So what did he ask? More daylight. Stand still. According to the scientists, we know the sun does not rotate around the earth, di ba? Even though we say sun rises and sun sets, di ba? Sun is rising, sun is setting. It's the earth that is rotating, okay, around the sun. Okay? So for the sun to stand still, the earth is traveling at how fast? How fast is that earth traveling through space? 68,000 miles an hour. We don't feel it, right? 68,000, kasi malaki. Malaki yung Earth. Di ba? 68,000 miles an hour. How about spinning? 1,000 miles, so 1,600 kilometers an hour at the equator. Tayo, ito sa equator tayo, di ba? 1,600 kilometers per hour. Now, let's say there's a car, okay, running so fast. Okay, 160 kilometers an hour or more. Biglang pahintuin mo. What will happen to all the passengers? What will happen to all the passengers? Thrown out. Diba? Especially kung walang cover in car. Thrown out. Yan ang sabi ng mga scientists. Kaya poetic lang daw yan. It's poetic. Now, how do we read that verse, right? There will be big tidal waves. Can you imagine all of a sudden you stop the earth from spinning? All the ocean, lahat tidal waves na yan, as high as a building, all over the world. Big disaster, calamity. Okay. Let's read this verse again. All right? To understand what happened. All right? So the sun stood still. And the moon stopped. Till the nations avenge itself on its enemies. As it is written in the book of Joshua. Okay? Nakasulat din doon. Book of Joshua, anyway, no need to go to that book. Okay? It's a historical book. About history lang. Okay? History of what happened. The sun stopped when? In the middle of the sky. What time did Joshua ask for it? Middle noon. Diba? When is the sun in the middle of the sky? Tanghali. So, Joshua prayed this tanghali. Diba? In the middle of the sky. And God did not stop it completely. Dinelay lang niya. So, the car is running very fast. God did not stop the car. Pinaslow down lang ni God yung kotse. It's 200 kilometers an hour. O, sige, 180 na lang. 160 na lang. 140 na lang. Dahan-dahan. Kaya walang calamity. Okay? The sun stopped in the middle of the sky and delayed going down about a full day. God gave Joshua another 24 hours to finish his work. To destroy the five armies. Is that amazing? I think this miracle is bigger than the fall of the wall of Jericho. Mas madali yun eh. For the Jericho wall to fall, for God, di ba? Madali yun. Di ba? How about parting of the Red Sea? Mas madali, di ba? For God. No, I'm talking in terms of God, ha? But to slow down the rotation of the earth, mas may effort ng konti. But for God, nothing is impossible, di ba? Sabi ni God, nothing is impossible for me. Yung battle plan, karamihan, galing kay God. Parting of the Red Sea, Moses, raise your staff, raise your hand and divide the water. The sea will be divided and walk on dry land. Plano ni God. Jericho, go around the city 7 times. Yeah? The wall will fall. AI, yun, set an ambush. But this one, more daylight, is requested by Joshua. Si Joshua ang nag-request. That's why when we read the next verse, verse 14, there has never been a day like it before or since. Will it happen again? I don't think so. It will not happen again. Okay? It will not happen again. A day when the Lord listened to a man. Itong request na ito is from a man. It's one of the greatest miracles recorded in the Holy Scripture. Ang request is a man. Pero ginawa ni God for him. Why? Surely, the Lord was fighting for Israel. Okay, Joshua, you need more light? Okay, I'll give you more light. Okay, we'll slow down the rotation of the earth. So the sun will not go down for almost a day. But God may not do it again. One time lang. Request lang ni Joshua. Okay? Surely, the Lord was fighting for Israel. Isn't that amazing? Di ba? This is the God we worship, who can slow down the rotation of the earth. What kind of power? Di ba? No one can do that. No one. Only God. Only God can do it. Kasi siyang creator. Remember, only a creator can do something like that. That's marvelous. Well, I came a very lovely point on this topic. Can we have the PowerPoint? I want to share it with you. It's entitled, Sun, Stand Still. Okay, it's very lovely. I want to share it with you. Okay, the title of this poem. Very nice, very nice. I want to read it for you. Joshua and his army had put the enemy to flight, but were afraid they could not finish, for they were running out of light. Then Joshua prayed, "O Lord, please give more daylight on this hill." And God performed a miracle and made the sun stand still. Next chapter. Now, our God does not make the sun stand still just every day. In fact, He only did that once, and that's enough, I say, to show that He's in charge of all and that He has the power to do whatever is His will on any day or hour. So, when our heart is hurting and there seems to be no way to find relief or even just to make it through the day, with faith in Christ, call on the Lord. Don't hesitate to plead. And He who made the sun stand still will also meet our need. So joyful and blessed Sabbath to everybody.